How's it going, guys? I'm Andrew with Glass
Hey,
Factory.
Andrew.
We are here with Wes and Javi from the band Post Animal, based out of Chicago, Illinois. Love their stuff. How's it going, guys?
Good, man. Doing well. Just having a nice, slow morning.
There you go.
Just on an
Where you at?
Amtrak from St.
Sure.
Louis to Chicago.
Ooh, from St. Louis. Okay, nice. Currently, I have a very jumbled life. I am currently in Nashville. By tonight, I'll be in Chicago. By Thursday night, I'll be back in Nashville. It's very
Oh,
interesting.
rad. Cool.
Yeah,
Those are my two spots, actually.
nice.
I grew up in Nashville, so
Tell us a bit about yourselves, about what you do.
yeah. I live in Chicago. Main thing is playing in this band. Post Animal, play drums and sing a little bit. Kind of on for fun. I work also, do some day job kind of stuff. Just got this new job at a antique furniture warehouse, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah, kind of an interesting little new gig that I'm enjoying quite a bit. I like to do activity, kind of physical activities, more, workouts, stuff like that, yoga, meditate, watch basketball. Yeah, got the playoffs
You a
going right
you
now.
Bulls fan?
I'm actually not. I don't really have a team, to be honest.
Okay,
I'm just
nice.
a fan of
The
the
sport.
game, and I'll definitely root for the Bulls, but I'm not gonna lie, it's hard to root for the Bulls when I'm also I like the Bucks too,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I like Giannis. I
fair.
like the narratives. I like the stars. It's fun.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's kind of what I'm into these days.
nice.
I play guitar and do some singing in the band. Mostly just the band is kind of the main thing, and also just doing other musical things to supplement it. Playing, recording for other people, playing with other people, kind of doing my own music. Yeah, just kind of being scrappy in that department. But, I love biking around. I love walking around Chicago, hanging out with friends, playing pool. I love watching the playoffs right now. I'm a Timberwolves fan. I'm from Minneapolis,
Nice.
and so it's been fun watching them be super scrappy.
You guys just beat the Grizzlies, right?
Yeah, yeah,
That's crazy.
Dude, I gotta come over and watch some games with you. I didn't even know
yeah.
you were watching.
Oh, dude, I'm on it. I'm on it. But also it's fun to watch the Bucks too.
I want to focus on what Javi just said about music. How has the Chicago music scene specifically shaped your guys' approach and how you do things?
I think that early on, it had a big influence on us. I guess once you kind of get to a certain level of success where you're not playing local shows as much anymore, it's cool to get bigger and get more popular and be able to just kind of tour around and play in other cities mainly. But I guess maybe the downside of that is you don't stay quite as connected into what's going on. The scene has also changed a lot over the past several years, obviously because of COVID. That took, I mean, yeah, that just threw a big old wrench into it. But I think early on, the scene, just the energy of going to shows and trying to have a really fun live show was a big thing for us. I think when we were going to shows, we sort of wanted to capitalize on everyone's young, rambunctious energy that, people wanted to, it was kind of an era of time where people wanted to move around at shows and people wanted to mosh and just have a good time and stuff like that. Just really kind of let loose. And I think that had a big influence on the direction that our music went. We want to be a proper rock band, hard rock band. Yeah, that's pretty much
Yeah.
it. We'll have our vibier moments, but we want to rock it too.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
was gonna say that Sleeping Village show last summer was that was insane. That was
Dude, that
intense.
was such a fun show. That's awesome that you were there.
Yeah.
That was so good. Yeah.
That energy is definitely quintessential to the Chicago scene. I mean, I feel like Twin Peaks was kind of the golden standard for me and I think us as like a Chicago band, as far as like crowd dynamic goes, like they people just would go wild. So it's kind of fun to try and foster that kind of environment, and that definitely shaped our music. But also collaborative spirit that happens in Chicago, because there's this lack of, I don't think there's as many, there's like the ego is not as big of a thing in like the Chicago music scene. I feel like there's a lot more humility. So there's a lot more willingness to collaborate. And you see that between bands and musicians, but you also see that within bands. Like a lot of times there'll be multiple songwriters, and I feel like we definitely took on that sort of like equal playing field mentality with making music, where it's like everybody's contributing. And yeah, Chicago is all about like people getting up on stage at other people's shows to kind of be featured. And that's something I just don't see in other scenes as much. And I feel like we've kind of exhibited some of that. And it's just that's a really that's a really cool part of the Chicago scene. I feel like, yeah, that shaped us a bit.
Yeah, I was about to say, you guys all split vocals, right? Like that's, you got Dalton doing a lot, Javi, you do some, Jake does some, like you kind of split it up amongst the band. How does that collaboration factor into like the process of making a record? How do you try to, bring that energy and contain it on, recorded sound?
I think it's just become more of a melting pot as time goes on for us. Like it's like how much more like blended can this mix be? How much more can we like keep stirring the pot and like kind of make it into like one, from like Technicolor to like one kind of grayish purple mix, like, and I feel like we're slowly getting to that, where we just like, now on our new record, we have songs where all 5 people in the band are singing lead vocals at random times, and people are coming in for harmonies here and there. And, and also with the writing process, it's also been pretty collaborative. Like before, I think we all used to just bring demos individually, and that would and then we'd all kind of put that through the filter. Post this record, we're doing songs where practice space, and we would just like write stuff together. Like one of us would just start playing some random chords, and that would turn into a song, which is a little more traditional, but not for us. So those are some ways in which we've kind of become more collaborative as the years have gone on.
Yeah, we were pretty intentional about, like, it was intentional in a way, but it also kind of just happened to where like we all were like, hey, let's all sing more. Like on our new record, there's like a couple songs that it's like, yeah, everyone sings. And it's kind of like we thought it would just be like fun and like, like, I don't know what band is doing that right now. It's like, it feels kind of fresh and like just all these different voices. I think that we all kind of sound like each other on this next record too. Like a lot of the people that I've played it for, they're like, so that's Dalton singing. Like, no, actually that's Jake singing, or like just people not being able to like really pinpoint who it is. And I love that. I think that's cool that like we're starting to like become like a chameleon, of voices, I guess.
Speaking of the new record, do you guys know what the concept of the spine is in art from Twyla Tharp? She has described like the spine is the statement you make to yourself outlining your intentions for the work. So I'm curious, what was the spine for Love Gibberish?
I would say the spine for Love Gibberish musically, like instrumentally speaking, was something that was more refined and honed in. Yeah, something that we had the reins on more. Because I think for the last record, for FMG, for Motion Goddessy, we were like really kind of like, we were just like, we didn't give ourselves a net with that one. Literally, let's like throw all the paint on the canvas and just make this thing just nutty as possible. And with Love Gibberish, it was like that's sort of that same sort of like, let's be really explorative, whatever that word is, exploratory.
Yeah. Either one works, I think.
One of those words, you know what it means. Like let's kind of like take that sort of like adventurous spirit, but let's try and hone this in Like let's try and like progress as songwriters. Let's try and like make this more cohesive. And it definitely ended up being like that lyrically speaking too. Like lyrically, I think this is our best album, and like really like everything lyrical content wise is very cohesive, I think. And the idea of love gibberish, it's like I can go into that more, but like to write an album that really kind of like talks about love and its many meanings and many iterations, and it's like we wanted to handle it with care and really be very intentional about what we were trying to say. And I just think that with every release that we have, we are getting more intentional and refining our process and the actual like product that comes out of it. It's like we're just maturing and like becoming more intentional, becoming more thoughtful of what we're doing.
I guess like it's kind of hard because we all write lyrics about different things, and I guess we don't always kind of talk about like a theme before we start writing lyrics. But just as like a broader umbrella, it seems like we talk about previous things have kind of shaped us and how we're gonna like do better moving forward and like lead more with love, it seems. I think just to tie in the whole love to love gibberish, like the duality of like making mistakes and then doing better as a result. Kind of a lot of that.
And we definitely wanted to make something, and sort of this happened pretty organically, but we wanted to make something that was more uplifting and positive. I would say that like there's something that's very like positive and hopeful about love gibberish, that I really, really like a lot. That sort of is maybe a little bit different than our last record.
Yeah, I was gonna say like Forward Motion Goddessy juggled, so it juggled a lot, and I thought you guys did a great job of creating a through line in the juggling, but it was very much darker in tone than what I'm getting from these first two singles for Love Gibberish.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And you'll see it when you hear the whole thing. It's like makes more sense to get like I think FMG is kind of like a crazy all over the place, but we had that was sort of intentional. But with this, it's like I think there's a through line there that makes more sense.
This might be a very general question. How have you been able to create those through lines on your projects? Like when I think of You in a Castle, was very sonically like similar, but there were enough changes where it was like it was kind of a trip, if I'm being honest. It was very much a trip. And then Forward Motion Goddessy was darker, and we already talked a lot about the process behind that. But how do you find that through line sonically and keep it going?
Literally being in the same van and playing the same music, we're all listening to it. I feel like that has to do something, like the echo chamber of like we're all listening to Turnstile, we're all listening to Charlie XCX, we're all listening to this and that, like it just seeps into our subconscious, and I think there's some through line there.
Yeah, like there's something that happens with humans when we spend enough time together, that the brain starts like everyone's brain starts linking in specific ways, and you just start kind of like writing stuff that like it's you'll create something that the other person in the collective would also be like, sick, I like that resonates with me, and that makes sense with what I want to write as well. But there's still enough difference, because like I would say that there like is a style to what every member, like I don't write anything melodically, but I've been in a really cool position as the drummer of the band to watch the four of them each kind of like develop their style. I think Hobbies actually someone that can wear a ton of hats and like really kind of like play around in a bunch of different worlds. I just think that's sort of the kind of musician that he is. But like Matt will write, it's like I know a Matt song, like I know it always has this like vibe to it, for lack of a better term, that it's just like that makes sense, and that makes sense with something that Jake writes or something that Dalton writes. We kind of, yeah, it's just like what happens when you grow alongside of other people artistically.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I was told that I was told that my vocal delivery on Puppy Dog sounds like pop punkish, and I never listened to pop punk, but these guys did, and like there has to be something going on there where I'm like trying to please them or something. Super weird.
So you mentioned Turnstile and Charlie XCX. I'm curious, how did Charlie influence the sound of Love Gibberish?
Maybe the
If at all.
hyperpop. I don't think I should use her as just like an example.
Fair
but
enough.
I think the
fair enough.
hyperpop thing.
Yeah.
Like we have a song called
song.
Megaphone.
Yeah, that's the one that there is one. There's one on there that's very like, we call it hyper prog.
Nice.
And it's I think you'll hear it when or you'll kind of pick up what we're talking about when you hear it. It's like, it doesn't sound like her. It's just like, it's same, like we don't sound like Turnstile.
Right.
We don't sound like but we like listen to it to like seep in some way, even if it doesn't, even if that doesn't make sense to the listener, even if the listener is like, I don't hear that at all. It's like, all right, yeah, fair enough, but we hear it.
Yeah,
it's like
it might not be on the surface, but it's in the underlying current.
Yeah, it's in the current. It's part of like the mood board of what, like,
nice.
Exactly. Yeah.
Can you actually give us some recommendations? Like, what is Post Animal listening to right now?
Listen to this new Omar Apollo record.
Okay.
Ivory. I love it. So good. It's also like a lot of heartbreak. That's something I can relate to. It's like, also I love Vegan. VEGYN. It's like it's like instrumental, short song. Super, super good.
I've been listening almost exclusively to like that, to the new Blade and Echo 2K record. I'm like Drain Gang now.
Fair. That's fair.
I'm draining so hard right now. Yeah, I just like love everything that whole crew is doing out there. I think it's so sick. And then this artist, I've been listening to this artist Lorne. They're like, I don't know if you've heard of Lorne, but
I recognize the name.
Yeah, there's a couple songs. They're not really like that big, but they have a couple songs that are like so sick. But yeah, it's really like that Blade and Echo 2K right now for me. I'm just like drain
Nice.
mode.
I gotta say, as a fellow drummer, that's actually like where I go as well. Is like I end up more in like the hip hop's the wrong for Blade and Echo 2K, but like where it's like I end up in that area, and it's like that kind of I love it. I love that.
Yeah. There's something
That's
about
awesome.
like programmed, like a lot of the programmed music of modern day that's like, it's like elite tier like production. It just sounds so good. It's like, it's literally like candy for your ears.
And that's sick. Actually just to compliment you guys. I know you're self-producing Love Gibberish. Yes, I got that right. Cool. Yeah, because the first two singles sound awesome,
dude. Like, thank you.
They
so
sound
much.
really, really good.
Hell yeah, that's so great to hear.
You mentioned how COVID threw a wrench into the Chicago scene. How did that affect you guys? I know that you were actually the Nashville show. I had tickets. I was very bummed about that. But
dude, come to the one in May.
Yeah,
the one in May.
What's the I plan on it. I do plan on it. How has that been, navigating the changing live music landscape outside of just the Chicago scene, but like in the global space?
Dude, without being without being too negative, it's been like rough at points. Like, I can't lie, it's like completely it really like threw off. I mean, in a lot of ways, very grateful for the break. There's a lot of growth that happened for me personally and for everyone, I think. But yeah, no, it threw off momentum. It threw off, you know, it basically like swallowed an entire album cycle for us, you know. That sucked. But now I think things are a little bit more back to normal, especially in the States. You know, like the States is like, we don't care. COVID's done. It's over. So you know, we're gonna go full speed ahead. But yeah, it's been weird, man. It's been like very odd to just, you get used to canceling and postponing shows, and you sort of have a feeling of like, you know, let's not get our expectations too high, because this could, you know, even on this next tour, it's like one of us could get COVID and we end up having to cancel like a week of shows.
Yeah.
Knock on wood. That doesn't happen, but you know.
Do you have anything extra nuts planned that you want to spoil for this tour? You don't have to. You don't have to.
Not really. I'm just like excited for people to see us live. I'm like, dude, we're like way better now than we were like 2 years ago. It's like we're just like better musicians. We sound better live, I think. Like it's just like I'm just like come get it, you know? Come see us.
Yeah.
Come enjoy the music. That's what we don't really have anything like special like planned, I would say.
Cool.
But maybe, you know, maybe in the near future.
Thank you so much for your time, Wes. We'll wrap up here with Javi, and
cool.
See you soon.
Yeah.
See you, man.
Looking forward to Love Gibberish, man. Yeah.
Dude, yeah. Sounds good.
Cool.
All right, man. See you guys.
Peace out. Bye. Have a great one, Wes.
See you, man.
Yo.
Do you have anything else that you want to share with us about Love Gibberish, about Post Animal?
Yeah, to answer the question of is there anything new with our tour or that we're bringing? Nothing really. I mean, Jake has a new MIDI controller. That's about it.
Nice.
He's got 2 keyboards, but he's had that for a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah.
Dalton has a sub bass keyboard. I don't know if like we've toured the States a little bit with that, but
I was about to say I thought you had that last summer. Yeah.
Oh no, you're right. No, there's nothing really to in here.
Cool.
Wes singing.
That's gonna be exciting.
That'll be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you got any questions?
Honestly, really just how can we as people, as a general populace, and also specifically as like a music publication, how can we best support you guys? How can we get the word out about Post Animal? How can we,
telling people about our shows and telling your friends to come see us and coming and buying some merch and buy some records, listen to our music online, check out the music videos. But if you like it, come check it out.
Cool.
It's better live, honestly. I mean that earnestly.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Javi.
Of course.
Yeah, and be sure to everyone who watches this, be sure to check out Love Gibberish when it comes out May 13th. Independent release, yeah?
Yes.
Nice. Yeah, there we go. Be sure to check it out. Thank you so much, Javi.
Yeah.
And I will let you get back to your train.
All right, thank you.